Dude.
I'm trying to get pictures of space on my screens. My face looks less. It's not working.
Have you not got
Enjoy the lighting.
curtains?
I do, but like I need to climb on my desk to get them over.
You have to
I
go
don't really
under
wanna
them
do
and
that.
try to do a shimmy jig with them.
It's like a parkour just to shed a shades.
Jimmy jig.
Yeah.
Don't think I'm quite up for doing that.
I'm quite up for the shimmy jig.
Nice hair, Oxy. Have you had it cut?
Nope.
Oxy got a haircut. Everybody.
Oxy got a haircut, guy.
He demands
No one-
compliments on it.
In the comments below, everyone tell Oxy how good his hair looks.
Like no one ever notices. Like I went in to see my dad afterwards, and he didn't notice, and he sees me most frequently out of every. No one like I just have. It's just so. There's nothing to it.
Is this
It's just
buffering?
poof.
Boof.
Why
And
is
it's-
this buffering?
Bouffant.
It's a bouffant.
Bouffant. C'est très bouffe.
Le bouffe.
Le bouffe. Can you turn the contrast down on the camera? Have you got your camera settings?
If I try and do that, it won't work on Discord at the same time, and the settings never carry over, which is I don't
See
know.
what I do if I go into I turn my camera off in OBS and then I go into OBS and I open up the camera settings, which is a Logitech panel that opens from OBS when you right click settings. It's weird.
I don't have mine through OBS.
That would probably help.
Probably.
Me?
Yeah, so Slick, how was your trip to Florida?
I had a great time. An
I'm
absolute
gonna
great
try and
time.
Spent 5 days there?
Yeah, 5 days. We got in on Monday, so left Sunday night. Got there Monday midday, like 2. And then left Friday around 12:30,
Nice.
which was fun.
Just seeing Oxy's cam bouncing up and down because he's climbing on his desk.
It's great. It's a great time.
Look at all that memorabilia.
Look at it
Any
all.
funny shit happen or?
Yeah, just the karaoke. Well, no, we were talking. That was in the video, actually. We talked about the karaoke stuff. Why will my videos not load on YouTube? Like, it's literally loaded. It shows it loaded, and it won't play it. That doesn't make sense.
Conspiracy.
It's a new thing. Like, it used to always be fine. I just don't understand it. Do I have to look up pictures, maybe? I'll just show pictures in the bottom corner. Here, let's just get a crocodile, a low-quality crocodile video.
I mean, you don't really need to get a low quality crocodile because we've already got one.
Sick burn, dude.
It's so true, though. It I didn't even faze me. Like, that was a funny joke, but just don't even.
Funny but true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this works.
I can't
Born
see
to be
anything like
loved.
that.
Born to be
Major
loved.
documentary on crocodiles. Nice.
The journey of a young hero begins. What is this? What did I click? There's a seal. My animal friends? This is not.
Oh, you got a little sunburnt nose.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sunburned.
Oh, bless you.
My lip, too, is pretty bad. Koalas. Koalas and roos. No videos are loading. We're just going to take a pic. I'm going to get a picture of a crocodile, and it'll be good.
For you, dude.
Just gonna get a picture. So yeah, just find like a crocodile in a dress, and then you've got
I'm gonna get the crocodile and the crocs there.
crocodile in the Crocs, dude. If you can get a croc in Crocs,
I had one before.
that'll do. I see it. Third one in.
Yeah, that'll do.
Perfect.
How do I zoom in on this?
Control scroll. There you go. Wonderful.
Nice. Look at that.
One day we'll get him to put a cam on, and then our viewership will go up by 200% because he looks like.
It'll go up like 3%.
Don't say that.
3%.
People will be like, "Wow, is that flying?" They'll be like, "No, he's thick."
So
Thick fly.
there was a cool bar that we went to that had life-size pong, like beer pong, which I thought was pretty
Is
cool.
normal pong not life size?
Well, I mean, that's the only way I would describe it, right? Like, it was bigger. So they used trash cans and volleyballs instead of solo cups and ping pong balls.
That seems like a great way to lose some teeth.
You almost did.
From a volleyball?
Yeah, if you get like clogged in the chops and then fall over or something because you're pissed. You
What?
know?
Have you ever seen a volleyball?
I know they're not heavy, but you know, you hit a drunk person in the face with anything, and then they're going to take
Well,
it.
why would you? You're trying to make it inside a trash can. You're not like throwing it at their face.
You haven't seen me. You haven't seen me play pong. Beer pong.
You're like, I just ping people
This is
with ping
war.
pongs. Yeah, that's a different game. That's an entirely different.
Dodgeball, dude.
But I did have an injury from it. A ball bounced and I tried to dodge it with my head and clanked my head on a metal pole, like a metal support beam.
Seems like a great way to lose some teeth.
It was the top of my head. I was good.
But you know, face onto metal pole could have happened.
It could have. It definitely could have. I guess you're right.
Probably got a concussion.
You know? Well, that's why you guys don't have life-size bong and we do around here in these parts. You
In
guys
these
are
parts
afraid
on
of your
the
teeth.
other side of the country.
Yeah, I know. But it was a good trip. I just got sunburnt. That was basically it. Ate some good food. Had some fish
Any
spread
Cubans?
and stuff. Yeah, Cubans. I did hit the bodega spot. My favorite area.
Also, what, you met up with Baron as well?
Yep, I did. I saw Baron. We had some drinks. Talked about cool stuff. I don't have alerts on the stream. On the podcast.
Well, you can see it now.
Get roasted. Stream baby burnt nose. Stream baby burnt nose. Thanks, Kath. Appreciate the
You're
9
welcome.
months.
Stream, baby. Dude.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But yeah, other than that, it was a good trip. So how has the patch been all week, guys? I haven't played. Obviously, I played yesterday, but that was about it.
Well, I mean, the week that you were here, obviously it was 2A5 week.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, I would say that it's leveled out a bit now.
Is his win rate still like 90% though?
Don't know. I'd say that, you know, people have started realizing that it's not ultra durable.
It isn't ultra durable. Let's check the thunder skill of it. Germany ground forces.
Is it still probably best tank of the patch? Or
It's not on here yet, unfortunately.
There was one. Someone posted one in one of the Discords I'm in the thunder skill win rates of it, but I don't know where they are.
How
I
do
think you
you...
need to look up the tank itself. I don't think it's on like the list yet.
A5. Does it work if I just type in Leopard 2A5?
No, it throws errors, doesn't it? If you
Shows
if
me
you don't click
videos.
The thing.
Oh, wait, hold on. No. No, yeah. Can't find it. I don't know where it is. But yeah, so everything else has been, it's just kind of evened out this week. I didn't feel like that tank was going to be overpowered. You know, like a lot of people were saying, oh my god, it's so easy to play. Like, it's literally the same thing as any other tank that's at that tier.
If you're shooting the cheeks of a 2A4, you know, up before this patch, if you were shooting the cheeks of a 2A4, you were doing it. And it's basically the main benefit of the 2A5 is having more stuff on the cheeks, you know, on the face. So,
yeah. You could still breach it though, I think, and that's like any tank at top tier. It's the breach meta.
You can still breach it. You can still go through the whole roof on the front. I would hesitate to call it the UFP, but you know, the bit with the driver's hatches, you can go through there pretty easy, and the low front plate you can go through pretty easy. It's just the nose and that's.
Well, it should be strong. To touch on what Spit said, I didn't see that yesterday. So Croc and I did play about 10 games of 9.7, so F100D, and we were not getting clubbed. I would say it was not the opposite of getting clubbed. We weren't stomping either, but we won at least 50%, I would say. And I got a kill almost every game. Croc was getting kills in the F9F. So, I mean, I think people just don't know how to play Jets, and they give up their energy at wrong times and want...
Yeah, like, you can exploit the T2s pretty easily. Like,
so the T2 is...
Like,
if he gets a radar lock on you, it's very scary. And if you don't have enough altitude to really make him do some wild maneuvers, you're probably going to die. But on the offhand that he loses his speed, we saw a couple that lost their speed. They just get poached. Like, they can't... Low speed maneuverability on that plane is terrible. So if you have somebody who's exploiting how fast the plane is and using it well, it's going to be hard to kill him. We had that guy actually that got 5 kills, and nobody could touch him because he was just like using altitude well and whatnot. But most people who have it don't play like that. They get really sucked into like, I need to kill this guy, I need to kill this guy, and then you just come out of nowhere and blink.
Well, there's always situations with planes where if you are disciplined and you fly it conservatively, you can barely be touched, but then people get impatient or greedy, confident, even just mistaken confidence, and then you'll get knocked. There's instances of that across every tree.
Yeah,
I think the T2 can exploit that the best, but again, we had
and just because it's the top tier one, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily the best, but
it's just so much
the
faster,
process, yeah, in terms of the numbers involved, yes, in terms of the height and the speed, so on and so forth. But I mean, you get instances of planes like the F7F used to be like that. A conservatively flown F7F would be exactly the same as the T2 is being now. It just disappears off into the sky, and you can't climb after it, you can't follow it.
Yeah.
It's not the only instance that we've ever seen.
Well, I did notice that they lowered the BR of the F100.
Oh, they did?
9.7.
Did they?
Wasn't it always 9.7?
I thought it was 10.0.
I think it was initially 9.7. I don't remember it ever not being.
Then now it's back down to 9.7.
I thought it was 10.0. He said Spit said it's always been 9.7. I don't know. I really think I thought it was 10.0 when it was introduced.
I think it was 10.0 on the dev server, but not on the live, I think.
Well, I don't know if that was... I didn't know. But what I felt was we got like, I think 3 or 4 games against T2s and 6 or 7 games against just Germany, Italy, and Russia, I think, were on the same team. And when it was like that type of game, America seemed like they cleaned house. The only thing you have to worry about are the G91YSs that will get you in turn fights, and you start to lose your energy. And I also noticed that I don't have a good time against 9.0s because they travel in like packs and they get clumped up. So if you're in a really fast jet and you don't hit them on the initial pass, you have to just keep flying and then get some altitude and then come back in. Because if you start to get sucked into that turn fight, you lose. I still think 9.0s, I don't know, you guys obviously are going to have different opinions on this. I think 9.0s are the best, is the sweet spot for jets.
I've been having a lot of fun in my Japanese saber.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the CL a lot.
It seems good around there.
And I
think a lot of the people who were kind of power grinding for the T2 got it, and it wasn't what they expected, and now they've all gone.
Yeah.
It's probably
yeah, well, it's the same thing as the 205. It's like you had a few days to 3 to 5 days, I'd say, of just stacks. Like there was A1A1 L44s all over the shop, and 2A4s all over the shop, like an incredible amount of people playing Germany, and then it's kind of just drawn back.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the patch hype. If you spend weeks like as people have been doing, going, oh, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be amazing.
Can you turn that down in the
It's going to be cool.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
If you spend weeks hyping it up, then you're going to end up in a situation where people rush for it.
Yeah, but you get that every patch. There's always one vehicle that stands out. People claim it's going to be overpowered, so everyone grinds it out, and then it just doesn't meet expectations.
Not really to this extent before then. Like the 2A5 and the T2 have been unreasonably hyped.
Yeah.
It does, yeah, you're right, it does happen every patch. There's always something everyone wants. But they ramped it up this time, definitely. Like, I still think the T2 probably probably the most overall potential to like not well to stay alive in, I guess. Like it's such a disparate play style to what everyone's used to, and I think when you get the people who like blindly jump on the hype train to go for a vehicle like that, they're usually on the more casual side, like not, playing every day.
Yeah.
And because the T2 plays so like disconnected to how everything else plays, if you want to stay alive in it and you want to consistently do well with it, those sorts of people aren't going to do very well. I think that's kind of why it died out, because they grinded it, they got it, realized they weren't really doing very well with it, and probably just did something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I also see a lot of people constantly complain about America in the jet category, and I get the fact that like FJs get up tiered, and the lower tier American jets get up tiered to 9.0 games and stuff. But the F2 is, I don't know what people are smoking thinking the F2 is not competitive against the CL.
Did it get moved up to 9.3 or is it still 9.0? Because
I haven't checked.
I keep my game open for questions like this. F2 is 9.
Is what? Sorry.
F2 is 9.0.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, CL13 Mark 5 is 9.0, and then the Mark 6 is.
But even both of them, I think the F2 is still a really good saber. I don't know. The differences between the sabers themselves when they're fighting each other is small. Like, it's a very minute difference. Like, I'd rather just have the 20 mils to win head-ons and win those snapshots than have 50s. 50s seem to do a lot of like internal damage. They'll get your engine, but that's not a kill right away.
Is the only reason the F2 didn't get put up to 9.3 because it doesn't get
It doesn't have anti-air missiles.
Is that the reason?
Yeah, that's the only reason that they're 9.3.
So I don't.
Yeah, the new CL. That's the only reason why it's 9.3.
I don't really get that. Cause like the German Seahawk with the missiles, like that's not overpowered at all from what I can see, and from what I understand as well, it's not even that good because the vehicles it's fighting have like a weaker signature because the engines aren't as stronger, so it doesn't really mean anything. So I don't really know if they're that like
I think
if they warrant an increase.
They are more of a game changer at top tier jets than they are down below.
That's fair as well, yeah.
What, missiles? Yeah. I only catch like fast jets usually with missiles.
I tend to catch people who aren't paying attention, or if I want to make someone lose some energy by forcing them to turn.
Yeah.
You shouldn't necessarily be using them and expecting kills all the time, but use them in a situation where you need to close an energy gap between you and your opponent.
The aim 9 easy, like they get kills pretty frequently.
I've not seen them. I mean, I've been using them since the patch. I've not seen them. I haven't flown that much of it though.
Just like, how many kills did you get with rockets only yesterday, or missiles yesterday?
Most of them, I think 6 maybe, 5 or 6 with those aim 9Es. That's another thing too. People are really throwing shade at the F100 when it's incredible. It really is a good jet.
Guns are lovely.
The guns are good. It's really good at turning. It doesn't have as bad of a rudder issue as the MiG-19. It's faster down low, and it gets 4 aim 9Es. It's like, okay.
If anything, the MiG-19 is probably suffering more than the F100.
I mean, I'm not exactly the most well-versed jet player, and I've not had problems with the MiG-19 in the F1. If I don't want to get killed by it, I won't get killed by it. And it seems like a strange thing to say, but like, there's never been in a situation where I've been powerless against, a MiG-19.
Theoretically, like the T2 does everything the F100 does slightly better, so I think the MiG-19 is going to suffer more in that matchup.
I don't really think they're fair to compare. They've got similar like positive attributes, but they don't play the same at all.
The plan is
that's more of a thing for T2 though.
Oh,
because it is so. It is just disparate, I guess, is the best word.
I don't. So Spit said that people get roped into turn fights with the G91s and then picked off by T2s. I hadn't seen a game yesterday where it wasn't just Japan versus America. Like we didn't have any Italy and Japan, so I don't know if that's it could happen. I guess maybe we just got lucky, Croc. But I think 11 games is a good sample size. 10, 11 games is a good sample size. I didn't see any of that. It was either all Japan or it was everybody else on the axis.
Like the F40s kind of filled that role anyway.
Yeah, the F40s. Yeah, the F40s do that regardless, which is annoying. But they're not the fastest version of a Saber, so you don't really have to worry about it too bad. The only thing is when they have the missiles, you kind of gotta run away. You gotta dodge them. They can get you, bite you in the ass when a T2's on you, and then an F40 launches a missile at you. But I don't know. Well, see, the F40 turn fighting and like the F100's turn fighting, that's a player issue. That's not a plane issue. That's somebody like not paying attention.
What do you guys think about the new map, Alaska? It plays alright.
So the F40 and the F2 have the same engine. I didn't know. I'll just check that now.
Yeah, the F40 shows like the leading edge slats and all that.
Yeah, I figured they would have different engines, but they do not.
I don't think I've really played Alaska enough to say whether it's good or not. I mean, I've had a consistently good time with it, but couldn't really say.
I'm not particularly a fan, but no, for not any real reason. I'm just not fond of it. Like I don't think it offers much. I don't think it's very dynamic to play, but you know, they're not real excuses, are they? It's not like legitimate gameplay problems with them. It's just it's like if I get Vietnam now, it's the same thing. It's just like, oh,
yeah, that map's just
can't be bothered. But there's nothing. It's nothing like they just don't play the same way that maps like Eastern Europe and Poland and maps that have been in for a while. Like I was on Hurtgen the other day and I was thinking Hurtgen has more different layers than something like Alaska does. Like the conquest layers and stuff, they're all in different, distinct parts of the map that play differently. You don't get that with Alaska. You don't get that with Vietnam. Newer maps, you don't get the same sort of diverse.
I like Alaska. I didn't find anything wrong with it when I was playing it.
It's the same every time.
There's a few spots I think people have recently found that let you kind of get outside the map, which are a bit awful, but
that's how everything works, right? Give people a little time, they'll figure out how to get out of the map. There's just people who hug the border and try to drive out which way possible. But yeah, I think it's like I like the fact that it's a city, you know? It's
I like that.
I like city maps. I like how it has you can go down the middle and fight inside the town and not have to worry about people on the outside too much. Whereas if you go on the outside, you get sniping lanes, you get some stuff like that. I think it is a poorly designed map. Don't get me wrong. I don't really think that they are good at making maps at all. But I think out of the newest of the new maps, it's better than Vietnam, in my opinion. I think it's better than
I think so.
You know, some of the newer maps.
I think Vietnam's just awful.
To address a comment there saying it's nice how everyone who bought Tier 5 premium jets in December has been shafted out of getting a. If people bought a premium tank that was the top tier premium tank 2 years ago, does that mean that they're shafted out of getting into top tier matchmaking in darts for the next M1? I don't think that's not the right way to look at it.
You buy a premium tank because you like it. Don't say you're getting shafted. Like that's the same thing where people have the mentality they want somebody to play for them. You know, they're buying a premium because they want to be overpowered, not because they just want an easier time to grind and they enjoy that vehicle. It's just the way people look at things. I don't think that, you know, oh, I got shafted out of missiles. Like, dude, they're not even that. Just use that plane and grind out missiles that are in the normal tree. Grow up.
Yikes.
I just think that's how that thing has to work, right? Like, you're buying a premium. That's what it's going to be forever. Like, that's it.
So the Americans didn't deploy a Sabre with missiles. The MiG-15-ish is a CAS variant, and the Reaper is a CAS variant as well. That's not even 9.0. So
yeah,
the only one that you could argue you're getting shafted out of there is the F-35, but the F-35 is the F-35. It's not a JSDF Sabre. It's not. You were always getting equivalent of what is in the tree.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
think.
prefer that anyway, because it's like it's a weird kind of side of the coin to be on, but I'd personally rather the premiums are just kind of very slightly tweaked reskins for like vehicles we have already than completely unique ones. I mean, they should be in the tree, especially if they're
Mm.
like a performance job. Because the only
That's
negative
actually a good point.
really is that your premium vehicle might not sell as well because it's comparatively a bit boring. It's just a reskin. But like that's not really like a negative you should really pry on. But
Yeah, yeah. See, the people who pry on that negative is the same argument. They want something that's different and better than what we have already. When in reality, that's all you really need out of a premium vehicle: a unique skin, something that's comparable to something in the tree already, and it's going to earn you more experience towards grinding stuff that's in the tree.
I agree, but I am a beneficiary of the opposite. Some of my favorite planes are the Super Jug, the P47M,
Yeah.
and the D13. Neither of which are the same as the Tech Tree version.
mhm.
D13, you have the D12. Just the guns are changed around.
Yeah,
Same
it's
performance.
no, it's 320s instead of
So I mean, the guns are the only difference.
I like unique vehicles that are premiums. I don't have a problem with that either. Just to clarify, but I don't have a problem with them being copies either.
there's a
Yeah,
I think there's a difference. Sorry.
I think it's not that I think we think that it's like a bad thing to have premiums as unique vehicles. It's a weird thing to complain about having them as I think is the point. So I like unique premiums too. Some vehicles should be premium. Some vehicles deserve to be premium. That's pretty cool. Like, there's no fault with that. It's just I've noticed a
Was-
lot of people saying that like, oh, why didn't we get that Hunter Mark 6 or whatever it is with like all of the ground strike options as the premium because that'd be more, I guess, useful.
It's a
and
9.0.
interesting.
That's my argument for it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, they might still add variants to the Hunter. I think they should.
I just
I mean,
want
think they
variants
will.
of Hunter.
you
But
don't or you do?
when you look at like
They do. Like Gaijin just left a museum in Britain that had, I think, a Mark 600 in it. So they were, taking pictures and analyzing all that.
I mean the MiG 15 bis ish is 9.0. Whether you think it should be 9.0. The F-35 doesn't have any ordnance options, but is 9.0. And the distinguishing thing of the F-35 was that it had I forget what it's called.
Helmet
bomb
camo.
drop
Helmet
system.
camo.
No, the bomb
Yeah.
Helmet camo. That's what I
Hell
want.
yeah,
That's
dude.
all I really care about.
the
Let's be
bomb drop
honest.
system.
Yeah, it had like a guidance system for
For
like a
nukes.
nuclear
Look,
thing.
yes, it's like the bomb flinging, isn't it? Where they can sort of pull up and fling the bombs and
Yeah,
then be
yeah.
in the middle of an Immelman as it's landed.
Yeah. T-54E1, definitely not a weak tank. No, I would say no.
T-54E1.
Yeah,
US
the
premium. with
U.S.
the
auto
Select
loading
turret.
premium.
Oh yeah.
It's got a good turret. It's semi-hard to pen for most tanks. If it gets a down tier, forget about it. And if it goes into a 9.0 game, you still have an auto-loading or does it get APHE? No, it gets AP, Heat FS, and APDS.
Yeah.
I mean,
I really like
especially with
the-
how
I mean-
APDS is. Of course, yeah, like we played it back when it didn't have to fight. What else does it have to fight now? I don't think they added anything that it has to fight.
I think
It's IS-7 probably.
Well, it has Heat FS. Goodbye.
Yeah, when I played it, I mean, I'm probably not. I mean, I played 3 games in it. I think I'm like 18-0 with it. I really liked it. I killed 2 IS-7s in the same game.
Yeah.
Didn't really stand a chance. Really,
So
it's just
you could
5-second auto load.
Yeah.
It's great. The
I
super
like it.
vehicle.
It's just a big tank, Like you can't really hide it too much. It's hard to get it hold down because of how big it is. But it's got good gun depression. It's decently mobile. And I think the armor on the turret can be trolly at times. I don't think it's like bad at 8.0.
Yeah.
But it's like what an M48 with a different turret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you put it,
Yeah.
if you put that at 7.7, really, just as a devil's advocate to what the comment was, if you put that tank at 7.7, what's the point of the Magog? Right? Like you have a 5-second autoloader, better ammo, and it's still
It's a
premium.
new size drum as well.
Yeah,
I've got it in test drive now.
yeah, it's
Very
good.
good.
I like it. I haven't played it again since this patch, so I don't know 100%, but I would assume that it still does the same role.
I think so.
I would like to see them add the T-57.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
sick.
that'd be
T-57 heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be hunting bombers in the D13.
Why not?
Hunt fighters.
Did somebody say they were hunting bombers in the D13?
The D13 is a good grinding premium prop, but yeah, getting mixed battles where you can't hunt bombers as good. It's kind of don't hunt bombers, hunt fighters.
Yeah, no, it's. I thought somebody said that you can't hunt bombers with it, but you can hunt
Shouldn't.
anything with it. I wouldn't say you shouldn't. I go after bombers if I see one at my altitude, but that's because it's.
If I see one and there's no better target, I'm gonna hit the RP pinata for all it's worth. But I'm not gonna go out of my way to kill bombers. I never. How often does a bomber actually win the game?
Oh,
Worst
not,
case scenario, or Mr. Clever Climber Man has disappeared into space. I'm just gonna land and go to another match and shoot more people.
Well, when what's it called? When you kill bombers, it's that just helps the grind.
Yeah, I mean.
So if somebody's grinding and they're going after bombers. I mean, so I have seen there are going after bombers. I get it. I'm not super upset at people who are like use a fighter to go after a bomber. I don't like that I saw T2s killing AI planes.
Oh mate, yeah,
you know what I mean
as well. T2s going after the B-29s.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, come on, guy, you gotta be doing better than that.
That's the Volgarland special right there, dude. Like he's had like all the maps, like
yeah,
knew all like the location of all the AI planes was. It was incredible. That's how he padded his stats, but
cool.
Why do they even have like IL-2s on those maps and shit like that? It makes no sense. It doesn't add to the battle at all. It doesn't push like the ticket forward. Doesn't.
I would much rather have AI than not have it.
Yeah, it's just a thing that's happening, and it's like there's a bomber hiding in space. It's like, well, I can just kill these things.
Do this thing instead, yeah.
It's a good concept, but they could obviously improve on it. But it's not like a terrible thing.
Just wish it impacted like the ticket bleed or any of that.
It does. If you don't kill the IL-2s, then it cuts off a chunk of the tickets because they've destroyed like a section of something you're meant to be defending.
I'm gonna go grab more coffee. I'll be right back.
Oh, that's not bad then.
Yeah. If you kill all the IL-2s, then the enemy team loses a chance. So it does actually mean something.
Well, you can win Hokkaido quite easily by destroying Pillbox.
Yeah, that's true. What about the HE-111s on that British map?
British map?
Yeah, that giant one there that no one likes.
Boulogne sur Mer?
Yeah.
I think they do something, but I don't think anyone's probably waited around to see what happens when they get to get to Boston.
When they reach Britain.
Yeah.
40
really nice
later.
concept though. I like the size of Boulogne. If Boulogne was in an event with shit tons more people,
yeah,
it'd be lovely. It would be lovely, but not. It's you're playing an ARB match. You want to get like Italy or something, and you end up on Boulogne, and you're like, oh, fuck.
First time I got it, I was actually excited. I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, and then 20 minutes later, when you were going, shit, I'm out of fuel and I'm not even over the coast.
Yeah. You guys have a problem with this patch at all? Like, I think it was pretty good. Radar was implemented pretty well.
Terrain masking doesn't work in as well as it should.
Okay.
And the way that the Tunguska, I mean, you can't really change the Tunguska missiles because of how they are. Realistically, they are SACLOS missiles. They're exactly the same as a tow missile or something like that, but it's a radio guidance rather than a wire guidance. So you can't really change it, but it doesn't feel good. I want to be able to terrain mask. I want this person to not be able to immediately see where I am, because even if you can't lock it, you still get a ping on the radar, so they can still see where you are, and then it's just a trivial matter of pointing the gun.
Just waiting.
Yeah, the rocket. Also, in helicopters, the RWR pops up when you are not visible to the radar, so you can see if there's a radar without the radar, which is a bit balked.
I don't really think I've got anything like a massive issue with the patch at all. Like, there are things that I guess aren't working properly. I'm not like investing all my time into kind of experiencing them, I guess. That's probably like a kind of, I don't know, like not a really helpful way to look at it, but there's nothing that I'm kind of putting lots of time into that I think has been broken by the patch. Like, it's, for what I play the game for, it's just more stuff. And
Yeah. I think the patch is definitely more stuff. I didn't know exactly what you guys are talking about. But if you're
Anything
cool...
wrong with the patch?
Chungus.
Oh, yeah. Chungus is the only thing wrong with the patch. That's it. I mean...
It's kind of ruined that top tier sim event.
Yeah. Dude, that was one game. I've played it once in sim. I killed 6 helicopters in one game. But, I mean, there's not an issue with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's a problem with the Chungus killing helicopters. I'm saying that why would they add something that strong? It's like nobody tested it. It was like, nah, I mean, dude, as somebody who plays the game pretty much every fucking day, it was easy enough to shoot down helicopters with ATGMs. So adding something that has a faster, easier to use proximity fuse ATGM essentially, why would they not think that that would be fine to just give Russia? You know what I mean?
Like, I agree, but I think it's probably going to be, when they do this big balance thing, I think they're probably going to bump it way, like, as far up as it can be, because it is really modern technology compared to everything else. But I also think, like, no one usually agrees with me on this, but I think that just giving it to one nation is the safest way to implement it. Because if it turns out it's, like, completely game-breaking, and you give it to every nation at once, then it's just going to ruin everything, and there's no easy way to remove it. It's much simpler to nerf one vehicle than it is to nerf, like, 6.
I agree with that.
And, like, as well, like, I guess Russia, they're probably not the best nation in terms of the balance I'm going to try and make the example for out of it, but they certainly get a really big brunt of anti-air, like, CAS against them, like, loads of helicopters from the US and, like, loads of CAS planes. And so giving it to Russia and just Russia as, like, on the basis of testing to see if it's, like, completely game breaking or not, it's probably one of the most sensible things they could have reasonably done. So I kind of, now I don't think its implementation right now is great. Like, the missiles against tanks are kind of silly.
They're pretty silly.
But I mean,
we are going to see this more often. We are going to see these sort of in, like, the FJ4B, VMF 3. So came out a bit weird. The 5 bullpups, one nation, the same sort of guys. You've said that it's the same sort of testing thing, Oxy. I think that we'll see that in the future for more stuff as well.
Yeah.
If that's what they're doing, we're going to see it more.
I think the most sensible way to balance the Tunguska in vehicles like that is to add some sort of seed aircraft, right? So fire and forget. Yeah, so, like, let's just say, for example, it will literally change the way the battles have to be fought. Like, you can't just take a helicopter out when you fucking die. Like, you're not just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna spawn my chopper. No, you're gonna have to communicate with the team. Hey, you guys notice any Tunguskas up? Hey, are there any seed aircraft in the air that can take them out? And you're gonna have to knock out their air defense network first before you can spawn a helicopter. And I don't have an issue with that. I like how the modern battlefield has unfolded. You know what I mean? Like, that whole Endgame. You ever play Endgame? Or End War, I think? Tom Clancy's End War? You know what I'm talking about?
No, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
It was an RTS game, it had a really cool system to where, like, every vehicle had a counter and something it was really good against. So it made, like, this circle, right? So, like, AAV or IFVs were really good at shooting down helicopters, but helicopters were really good at killing heavy tanks, and heavy tanks were really good at killing IFVs, right? So,
like the combat triangle in RuneScape.
Yeah. I've never played RuneScape.
Thank God.
Where was your youth spent?
Jamming would be cool too. I think that's a cool idea to talk about. Some type of jamming stuff like that. Jammers. But I honestly don't think that jamming would stop the Tunguska. I'll still just naked eye identify a chopper and then goodbye.
I don't want to throw my weight behind this, but I think they might do radar missiles for April Fools.
That'd be cool.
Like BVR, DCS style, you know, big, long-ass range AMRAMs.
It is.
Oh, you don't want to get an AMRAM in this game. You're gonna get. People will be very, very sad.
I mean, they might do like tippy top jets.
Yeah, no, that would. I could see how it could unfold, and it would be awesome. I think it would be absolutely awesome.
I don't want to say that, but that's like an option because I can't think of much. Because the past few years they've used it for testing, so I don't know what else they could feasibly do.
F-14 versus MiG-29 would be fucking sick. I mean,
yeah.
I know it's going to be a very big. It's going to be a tech jump, but that's all.
Helicopters and top tier tanks was a tech jump when they did the testing for that.
Yep, it was.
So I mean, what else could they do?
I think
they might be. It might not be a testing year.
Oh, it usually.
I hope it is.
It is. It is.
A little bit. They could do something else, just as devil's advocate. They could actually do World War II subs instead of.
Those are boring. All hell though.
All right. Well, you're boring, so you'd probably be good at them. You know.
I don't really think they were that boring.
No, I didn't think.
No, I mean, World War II subs are just boring.
No, I think
the submarine event didn't.
It was subs versus subs, and that's why it was boring. If it was World War II submarines versus players in battleships as a testing phase, I think that'd be fucking cool. And that's
battleship testing question mark.
Yeah, they could definitely do that. I mean, shit, they're adding big enough cruisers now. They're getting towards the heavy cruiser territory to where it's gonna be like, they could add some small pocket battleships now. They could start to add that stuff. And think we're only at 5.3 for boats.
I think 5.7 now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we'll definitely get pocket battleships. I think it's just inevitable at this point. Like
they're gonna do it, and I don't mind it. I think it's
$80 premium pod.
I enjoyed the Colne and the other one. I forget the other one that I used. The
Brooklyn's apparently really good.
The Emden, yeah, the Brooklyn apparently is the best. The Kirov has the best guns, and I think the British one is like, all right. I think that's what Hippie was telling me. They're just like, all right.
What was like Britain's like design philosophy with ships? Was it just speedy ships or?
God knows. I know nothing about ships.
They just used old ships.
That's what it looks like, but.
Not always.
No, of course not always, but that's what it seems like.
We used some American ships as well.
Yeah, Fletchers, which were fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fantastic boot. Yeah, I'd love to see, or like just take subs out of that as a testing this year if it was Yamatos versus Iowas. Like, that'd be dope. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, I would play that.
I'd play it. It might get boring. I don't know. I still think that they need some type of dynamic game matches instead of capturing points for bigger boats.
You're then into the realms of taking shit that never happened.
What?
Like that? Yeah, well, if you're getting like full teams of Yamatos versus Iowas and stuff.
Well, as an April Fool's event to test the actual ships themselves. I'm not saying implement them like that in the game, of course, but I think it'd be cool.
You already have that, like 7.7 with the full
Yeah, we have that now. There's a ton of. Okay, so how about this, Kat?
No, we do.
How many Hortons can you get in a match?
Do.
Okay,
I
there
know
you go.
we do.
Yeah, all right. So let's not, you know.
But there's a bit. I don't know. They've been.
I get it. You want the Jets top tier Jets. Okay, they're gonna add top tier.
They've been wary when people have said, "Oh, you're gonna do battleships." They always go, "No." There's like one of them, and they don't balance. But they can't balance them against each other.
Well, I think they could balance them really well if they did something
been their argument.
With repair costs. So.
Like, to be fair to that, like their arguments usually aren't real. They just say it to kind of make people think, oh, this is never going to happen, because they've done that like over and over. Like their arguments for not introducing like more modern vehicles or like supersonic jets, they've always had like a seemingly surface level valid argument, but it's always been like a known fabrication. Like they know they're going to do them, but it's just like we can't do them because it's impossible or won't be balanced, or we can't do this. But it always inevitably happens.
Supersonic wasn't like their engine couldn't take those speeds or whatever. It was just bullshit. But
that was the thing that they said.
Yeah. Computing power can't handle it, and it won't be fun gameplay because you'll fly past each other too fast.
I think it's fun.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, but I see battleships coming soon. Hopefully, like they might be boring.
Like the way you got to look at it is that they've put. I mean, from what I know on the surface, how much it costs to make like a plane cockpit, like in detail, to make an entire like cruiser, the amount of work and effort and money that costs, it's like I couldn't really estimate because it would be wrong, but it would be like over like 20,000, I think, for like a completely unique model based on how much effort they put into like unique plane models and tank models. I can only assume it's more. Like I don't know, but
The ship
with
models
all
are
of
crazy detailed.
they
The
are,
internal structure and stuff.
and for all of the money, time, and work they've put into ships for how unpopulated they are, they need to do something to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
And they know that
Battleships, people will play. They will
exactly
play them, and
people have looked at the ships and like, oh well, there's nothing I know. There's a few destroyers, but I want to play really big battleships, so maybe I'll come back if they add them.
I'm
And like
I'm kind
that's
of
not even like a
confused.
disingenuous statement. Like, sorry to keep talking.
Yeah, no,
But
you're good.
like the people have genuinely had that example of like, well, I'd play it if there were more stuff, if there was more stuff that I knew and more stuff I wanted to play. And it's like, I keep using this as an example, but there is a very tiny amount of people that are very interested in like patrol boats and like destroyers compared to huge battleships and stuff. Like the interest is there and it exists, but it's not kind of sustainable enough to fill a game mode out with just people interested in the ships we have now. So
Yeah,
they know they need to add more stuff.
I think they do, and I think they'll do that. Well, that's why I was gonna ask, like, how hard was it for them to make the subs for that event?
Yeah.
Those are pretty detailed models.
So
Of course, you couldn't look at them in the hangar, so they didn't have an
Yeah.
internal structure technically. It was just the model on the outside. But
I don't recall any sort of.
because
They
they
weren't that detailed, to be honest.
I
Like,
don't
you
remember any
kinda
kind of
see
like
when
when the torpedoes hit. I don't remember any kind of X-ray.
no, I don't think there was an X-ray. I think they split, though.
Yeah, they just broke apart. Like when they breached, though, you could tell they weren't that detailed.
Yeah.
Like I actually think even though subs are very slow, I think it would be kind of fun gameplay. Like I like playing subs in Battle Stations Pacific and Midway. Like that was really fun because like it's always kind of satisfying being in that fly on the wall scenario where like you can see other people but you can't see them, and like people always like that. It's like kind of nervous excitement kind of thing of being like, oh, I could intervene here, but I might not. Or people always kind of like that kind of style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's the opposite. I think people hate being killed by shit they can't see. Like with the helicopter scenario, like people will flip out just because they couldn't fight back. Subs are similar.
I don't really think it's fair to kind of say until they're actually implemented because they know Gaijin know that there'll be things people can do to spot them and things.
Well, yeah,
like,
World War
it won't
subs.
be so blind.
World War II subs, like you'd have to breach and shoot your torpedo. Not breach entirely, but you'd have to have your telescope up. So you could counter it, but again,
and we stuff to do. And plus, like loads of, I mean, PT boats, I guess would have a more like and this is complete assumption. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure most of them have like relatively active radar for detecting that kind of thing. I mean, that
And
I have
planes.
no idea what I'm talking about.
There were
I
planes
just
that had it.
assume that they do.
no, they don't.
So,
Relied on like spotting planes in general. So like the HKs, like PBYs, all that, they were used as like
But they
sub
have
spotters.
big ass
like-
radar dishes.
Yeah.
Like the destroyers and stuff.
like from what I know about Gaijin's philosophy as well, they wouldn't model planes on the rails of cruisers to launch if they weren't going to be used. Obviously, they're low poly models and they wouldn't be to the standard of most of their aircraft. But they always add things in for a reason. Like they add things in that aren't going to come into play like a few years or so down the line, like in
Like the
terms of
radar
actual content, like radar dishes, like I think one example they actually said they were planning on introducing was the anti-ship missiles with the Albatross. They're there for a reason. So I think one day you'll probably be able to launch those planes. I always like that idea of like, if your ship is too slow and you'll need to waste it, like in the time of I guess comparatively climbing in your plane in RRB, by the time it takes for your ship to reach a combat distance, you could be flying around your spotter plane and doing stuff. So it's not wasted time. Like thematically in the game's universe, it makes sense for you to have that period where you're getting into the combat zone, but the time isn't wasted of you tabbing out, complaining on Reddit, and you're flying a spotter plane around, which is kind of cool. Like I really like those planes; they're sweet. It's probably ultimately there for a reason.
I'm just finding it hard to get excited for ships.
Well, some people don't
I,
like
I
ships.
play them. I play them, and I find the gameplay okay, if a bit chaotic, but I don't feel like there's the same sort of nuance that there is in planes and tanks.
I thought the same thing. Like, and then I kind of I played it a lot. Like, I mean, I've been a bit ill over the last few weeks, so um, but I've been playing ships a lot because I find them like a lot less stressful. It's not like you make one mistake and you're dead. Like for planes and tanks, it's like, fine. Um, it's just like a lot nicer to play, and I've kind of worked out how a lot of the idiosyncrasies work. So I think like if given enough time, you do kind of I think you do kind of get how to be a lot more effective with. And I've definitely got that experience, but like I don't know if the surface level interest is there for most people to kind of give them the go, and it's like that's perfectly valid. Like on the surface, not as interesting as planes and tanks, I guess. Obviously, probably not fair of me to say, but
I think
I
for
just
some people it's
not.
the exact opposite, but I agree. I think that more people like planes and tanks more than they like ships. But I think all it will take for those people is one of their ships being added, one of their favorite ships. And then once somebody takes the time, I felt the same way about boats too. I didn't enjoy them. They weren't that fun to play. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to grind. And then I found that the Jaguar, that Type 140, 141 is super fun to play, and I just use that to grind everything. And then I got the Albatross, and I enjoyed that. And I just think I think it's fun, and it kind of works. But I think the game modes for that need to be changed. I think like
Yeah.
the
There's
maps
a
and
lot
the
of
game modes
development
for
there.
that need to be developed further for it to be a solid game mode that will really pull people in. But as far as like a test mode, which it kind of is right now still,
Yeah,
I think it's pretty good. I think it's fun. I think the boats work.
yeah,
I think it,
I agree. The thing you got to consider as well, like it's not an excuse for how the current state of play is, but they are basically like in a kind of pseudo beta with how they are right now. Like they're not even close to being, probably even to the middle of development for ships. So there's loads of room to change how they play.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like for the first year, tanks were garbage.
They
Like
were.
it was
but you
so
can see the potential there. Like I don't see the potential of ships yet. I
like
think you need larger ships because you need to have like that fleet feeling. I think like
you
right now
you
you
do.
don't have.
But like when tanks first came out, I remember there was like 90,000 people playing, and like a week after, it was back down to regular numbers. Like the draw that tanks had were gone because people didn't like how they played when it was first implemented. Like I know there's like a lot of there's a lot of positive nostalgia about that kind of thing. When they first came out, compared to what we
Horribly
have now,
broken.
they were pretty bad.
You could
I
flip
enjoy
a
it.
tank, you couldn't flip it back over. Yeah, I had a good time with it, but again, like there was so many flaws. But you could see the potential with ships. I just don't see
I
it yet.
don't ever recall it being that bad.
Oh, it
I
was.
don't have overwhelmingly positive memories of it, but I also don't have overwhelmingly negative memories of it. I don't remember it being terrible.
It
I just
was
remember
kind of
being focused on planes, and I was just like, oh, thanks.
Maybe
yeah.
like one of the
That's the
fundamental
same
flaws
way.
with ships, though, is, and it's always going to be there. Like you have less of an impact most of the time in a ship than you can, have in a tank. Or like if you're a really good tanker or a really good pilot, you can win the game almost single-handedly. Where in a ship, I don't see that happening.
It is possible, definitely. Like I
Mm-hmm.
actually had a game today while I was playing. It's like the American boat at 3.0 with the two bofers. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
me versus like a team of five, and I won
Was it?
just
It's
by
the
like
80-foot
hiding behind a
nasty.
rock.
The nasty.
Not quite,
But yeah,
not
yeah.
quite. But
But
yeah, it's definitely possible. It's just on the surface, it looks like it's impossible to do, but I think that is just because people haven't put enough time into playing it to work it out. So
On the surface.
yeah, it's that's a
On the
really funny
surface.
joke because like, it's funny because boats obviously
You're on
float
water.
on the
Yeah,
surface.
yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
float on
yeah,
the
so,
water
yeah.
because surface level would indicate, it's a funny, clever parody on how boats are actually floating. So
Nice.
it's a good comical clever input
What's
into
it's
the
clever.
language.
the
It's very good.
1980s called "They Want Your Joke Back." Aha. Aha. I hate how much Kath likes those jokes.
Oh, it's awful, dude.
Like I didn't even think about that at all. Like relative, not even think about it. I thought that Oxy was being serious and genuinely trying to have a conversation. Cast like surface level. But Oxy is a top meme. Let's be honest. So do you guys want to
Oxy,
team up and play soccer?
You could do
There's
this.
too many people. Oh, no, it's 4v4 now.